You stand at the edge of something that matters: a job interview, a relationship, a new idea, the first draft of a project, and your stomach tightens. Your mind supplies a dozen reasons not to try. What if I fail? What if they laugh? What if I waste my time? You tell yourself a story, better safe than sorry. So you step back, you wait. You comfort yourself with smaller, safer things. And later, you feel the slow ache of a life half-lived. Sound familiar? This video is about that ache. It's about fear of failure, why it happens, how your brain creates it, and practical, science-backed ways to move through it. If you've ever avoided starting because you feared failing, you're not alone, and you're not broken. What is fear of failure? Simple definition. Fear of failure is an emotional response that tells you to avoid situations with a chance of negative outcome. Psychologists often call it adicophobia in extreme cases, but for most of us, it's a blend of anxiety, self-doubt, and a protective habit the brain learned over time. In plain terms, your brain is trying to keep you safe, emotionally safe, by steering you away from possible humiliation, shame, loss, or pain. That safety feels sensible in the moment, but over time, avoiding risks becomes a pattern that blocks growth, learning, and meaning. The psychological terms, let's name a few things so we can deal with them. Avoidance behavior. When you choose smaller, safer actions over bigger, risky ones to escape uncomfortable feelings, it feels comfortable short-term, but costly long-term. Catastrophizing. When your mind imagines the worst possible outcome, then rehearses it on repeat. It's a thinking habit, not truth. Perfectionism. When the only option seems to be doing something perfectly, otherwise it's not worth trying. Perfectionism and fear of failure are often two sides of the same coin. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. If you believe your abilities are fixed, failure looks like proof you're not enough. If you believe abilities grow, failure looks like feedback. We'll use those ideas to understand why we freeze. Why people fall for it. The brain's short-term logic. Your brain is a prediction machine. It asks, is this risky? If it thinks the emotional cost of trying is bigger than staying safe, it steers you away. That's useful if the risk is a real physical threat. It's less useful when the threat is only a temporary sting to pride or confidence. Two instincts are at work. Protective instinct. Avoid pain. Avoid embarrassment. Avoid loss of status. Simple and fast. Growth instinct. Seek challenge. Learn and risk short discomfort for long-term benefit. Slower and quieter. Fear of failure is often the protective instinct shouting louder than the growth instinct. And our environment rewards certainty in small ways. When you avoid and nothing catastrophic happens, your brain learns avoiding works. The habit strengthens. When fear appears, we don't just feel it, we narrate it. Overthinking fuels catastrophizing. You imagine failing on stage, losing friends, or being judged. Each imagined scene releases anxiety and convinces your brain the threat is real. That's why perfectionists procrastinate. Overthinking increases the perceived risk, so the amygdala, the brain's fear center, pushes you away. If the fear persists, the cost compounds. Short-term, missed opportunities, guilt, and lower confidence. Medium-term, stalled skills and shrinking identity. Long-term, regrets that shape the story of your life. Imagine looking back 10 years and realizing you avoided several meaningful attempts because you feared failing. Those are not just missed wins, they're lost lessons, lost connections, and a quieter version of you. Avoidance often protects you from short-lived embarrassment, but robs you of long-term fulfillment. That's the harsh truth and the useful one. Break the illusion. The truth fear hides. Fear will tell you, if you try and fail, people will think less of you. You'll be stuck. Here's what's actually true. Failure is feedback, not identity. Successful people fail often, They just treat failure as data. The people who judge you for trying are rarely the people who matter. Avoidance is not safety. It's a slow form of self-erasure. This is a reframing. Failure is a teacher, not a verdict. When you see it that way, risk becomes less terrifying and more useful. How to come out of it, the principles. There are two parts to overcoming fear: mindset shifts and practical actions. Mindset shifts first. Accept that discomfort is part of growth. Reframe failure as learning. Replace self-judgment with curiosity. What can this teach me? Then, practical actions. Lower the stakes. Shrink the task into micro-experiments. Build a feedback loop that's kind and useful. Practice gradual exposure. Small risks, small wins. Here are 6 practical, high-impact strategies you can use starting today. Top 6 actionable strategies to overcome fear of failure. Microtasks. Turn the mountain into a step. If launching a project feels impossible, identify a 5 to 10-minute action. Draft a title, write a single paragraph, or send one email. Tiny starts calm your amygdala and create momentum. 2. The fail fast experiment. Treat attempts as experiments with short timelines. Ask, what can I learn in 1 week? When you frame it as data gathering, the cost of failure drops and curiosity rises. Normalize failure with a bad first draft rule. Tell yourself, my first attempt will be bad. Celebrate it. This reduces perfection pressure and frees creativity. Great work often hides behind many bad drafts. 4. Externalize the fear. Name it. When worry hits, say it aloud. I'm afraid I'll look foolish. Labeling reduces emotional intensity. Then ask, what's the worst realistic outcome? Usually reality looks less terrible than the imagined scenario. Build a safe feedback circle. Share early work with 1 or 2 trusted people who will give kind, useful feedback. The fear of public humiliation shrinks when your first audience is supportive, not hostile. Rehearse recovery. Plan your recovery if something goes wrong. If X happens, I'll do A, B, C. Having a recovery plan reduces the brain's fear of irreversible damage and increases willingness to try. Putting it together, a 1-week practice. Try this mini plan for 1 week. Day 1, pick 1 micro task and complete it. Day 2, share the result with 1 supportive person. Day 3, run a short fail-fast experiment, 48 to 72 hours. Day 4, do the name the fear exercise before starting work. Day 5, draft deliberately bad first version. Day 6, rehearse a recovery plan for 1 worry. Day 7, reflect and note what you learned. Small daily steps build confidence faster than 1 heroic attempt. Consistency compounds. Counterintuitive truth. Discomfort is a compass. Discomfort is not a signal to stop. It's data telling you you're on the edge of learning. When your chest tightens and your mind races, lean forward a little, not recklessly, but with curiosity. That tiny approach accumulates into courage. You don't have to be fearless. You only need to be braver than yesterday. Try one of the micro steps tonight. Choose the smallest, most ridiculous first step you can imagine, then do it. If it feels weird, you're on the right track. Remember, people who look successful didn't avoid failure. They learned fast, adjusted, and tried again. Your next attempt won't erase the past, but it will enlarge your future. You're not defined by a single failed try. You are defined by the next small step you take. If you found this helpful, subscribe for Simple Psychology Explained. Tell me in the comments, what tiny step will you take this week? Go, try something, fail a little, learn a lot, and keep moving.